Serge here from the Backyard Range, and we have another pretty good question today. Came in on a blog. This comes from Richie Clary, and he says, "Hi Don, played 18 holes on Monday and ended up with a very sore left knee. The Serge swing was working very well for me and was getting very close to the flag with my irons. I think I will try a bit more flare of my left foot next time and see if that will eradicate the pain. I was really watching my bump, and that may have put more pressure on the knee. Thanks for the advice, Richie." Okay, Richie, excellent decision to try widening, I should say not widening, but flaring out the forward foot more. And the key with the flaring of the feet, which the Serge swing advocates flared feet about 30 degrees with both feet, is that it allows the knees to externally rotate in the swing. Now, we don't want to ever let them rotate too much when they get outside the feet, because whether you're throwing a baseball or football or serving a tennis racket, serving in tennis, if the knee gets outside the foot, you're going to be falling down. There's no doubt about it. So you have to keep your knees over your feet, but what we want is the knees to stay flexed and to rotate. From this view, you can see they stay flexed and they rotate a little bit. The kneecaps rotate, and it's very difficult for most people with straight feet to have the knees. The knee if it has no external rotation ability because it's too straight, or even forward, angled inward like some people teach, and cocking the knee. And if the knee can't externally rotate, when you're trying to rotate a little externally in the backswing and then in the forward swing, if the knees can't rotate a little, all they do is start to lock up, and that creates a lot of tension and strain on the kneecap, never mind up into the hip and then up into the back and all the way up to the neck and shoulders. So it's important to do that. And so even though I say 30 degrees, the key is still that at each and every one of you need to find out what works best for you. Now, I actually use about 45 degrees minimum. Now, I could go all the way, and I've done a video once where I turn the foot straight to the target and stand here and hit good shots. Okay? And I've done it before. I played around in golf doing that a whole round, and I could stand here and do this. Okay? Now the key becomes what? When you start to move to try and figure out how much more you could open your toes, basically this is the #1 rule to start with. Here's my toe line. I think you can see the white line. The toes should always remain on the toe line. If you started with your feet dead square, like this, dead square, and all I'm going to do is open my foot like that. If I start from dead square in this line, and I just lift my foot with the heel staying on the ground and open my toes and just open them up, I am no longer toe square to the line. This tends to be very critical in a casual or a limited amount of flaring, because when you're swinging and you're driving the ball and you make your lateral left shift, your bump, and swing down, and your hips are turning, if your front foot is flared, your turn will end up turning farther than you need it to go, and you won't be finishing square to the target when you recoil and relax. You'll be a little bit left. Plus, you'll be turning left too soon, which will likely move your head forward of the ball, and cause you to start thinning it, blading it. Get tired of doing that, throw the club out a little bit too quick, chunk it. It opens up the whole can of worms. All right? So, basically, with average flare to say 30 or 45 degrees, basically when I open my feet my forward foot about 45 degrees, I'm still toe on the line. But if I'm going to go to that position, and DJ talked about it in the webinar where he's now flaring about 50 or 60 degrees, I think the toe could come off the line, and it probably has to come off the line, because it's based on what? You have to find where relative to your back foot and where you're swinging, where your weight will go to the correct position and maintain your balance. And so if your foot was too far forward, it's going to be technically, when your heel, the more your heel comes in and the foot goes straight towards the target, it's going to tend to push you forward, and that's going to be a problem. And I'm actually a little bit more after doing that today, because my backyard is kind of going a little bit downward towards the camera here. So you have to find where you need that your forward foot to be relative to your feet, and that could be different for everybody based on your body shape and size and whatever. So you have to find a point where you can swing and come on up to a full and get a good recoil. And I think that that when I open it this much, as I said, I can't keep it on this line because I'm going to fall forward. Or then when I pull the club back, I might fall backwards. I think it's pretty good point would be somewhere that your foot would be close to being in line with the arch of your foot, because and your ankles, because that's good posture. We should be sitting in the arches. So now with this foot turned out so much, if I'm lined up with my forward arch, that's going to allow me to be pushing straight down, right down my line, and to hit the ball and stand up and finish square to the target. So once you start opening up more to relieve pressure on your ankle, your knee, your hip, your back, or whatever, if you open up more, the front toe can't come off the line, and you have to find exactly where it needs to be. And it might be just moving it a quarter of an inch can make a difference, but that's up to you to find. Again, this is one of those points where the parameters say I could go from here to there, and you got to find out based on your abilities, your skills, your liabilities. If you have any issues with bad knees, hips, back, or whatever, ankles, you find out what works best for you. But if you're having any problems with your back, your knees, your hips, and your ankles or whatever, I guarantee you flaring your feet will be, your forward foot especially, will really help you out into the impact and follow up into the tee finish. All right, so here's the search telling you, you need to find out and test and trial and error to find out what positions and what moves in the swing give you a dynamically balanced setup to a dynamically balanced swing, all the way to a dynamically balanced finish, because that's what it takes to hit the ball more solid, straight, and longer, and shoot those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.